The red, the tune, the cat, weather. Low cloud and rain affecting most eastern areas, and it'll slowly die out during Tuesday. Cloud lingering along eastern coast for much of today, but further west, some brightness is likely. Light winds and a maximum temperature of 10 degrees today. Oh, double figures. Tonight, a mostly cloudy night with some rain and drizzle returning from the east to affect much of the region. It's going to turn misty with a risk of fog, mainly across higher ground, and a minimum temperature tonight is 4 degrees. I thought I was looking for the minus. No, it's 4 degrees. From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink, the North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the red, the tune and the cat.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, gents. Tuesday, yeah, we come. And lots to talk about on the North East Footy Brekky show. As always, I'm joined by Rai in Australia.
Hello.
Good morning, Rai.
Good morning,
Good
Stevie.
morning.
How are you, mate?
I'm very good, and good morning, Ted in Cyprus.
Good morning, gentlemen. This is very formal and nice. You're scaring me a little bit, Steve.
It is. It's professional.
Good morning, and good morning, Daz.
Good
in
morning.
Teesside.
Good morning. How are you? Yeah, I'm really
Very
good, thank you.
man.
Yeah,
Very
good.
I hope you've edited those interviews properly.
It's been a struggle, but they're in progress.
Mine was like the DVD collection of The World at War, wasn't it? The never-ending free copies in the Daily Mail that you got.
It was lengthy. But you know, there's lots to talk about.
It's a good gag reel as well. Like.
And you know what? And you know when you dropped them on the floor and they were never numbered, so then you had to try and get them in order of the date. Absolute nightmare. I'm glad I sold them on eBay. Anyway, good morning to all of our listeners, millions across the world. And from our perspective, as always, we're going to try and wake you up with a bit of football crack. Plenty to talk about. Arsenal versus Sheffield United last night. Arsenal's shown that they're not as good as Newcastle because they only managed 6 goals against Sheffield United.
Here we go, yeah.
And Sunderland fans maybe want to block their ears. We are going to talk about support the team, not the regime. Which was a phrase that I coined under Mike Ashley, and now the Sunderland fanzine and fans have come together and created some T-shirts against their owner with the same kind of message: support the team, not the regime. Just want to know what's really going on at Sunderland, and is the grass always greener when you change your owner? We'll ask Ted about that. A topic that we didn't get round to yesterday, but I thought was fascinating, was the Bundesliga's bottom club, Darmstadt, lost 6-0 at home to Augsburg over the weekend. And one of the club's ultras was allowed onto the pitch to address the players in front of the stand. Wow. They're currently 12 points from safety with 10 games left to play. Do you think it's a good idea? Could we see Rai or Ted standing on the pitch and giving Borough and Sunderland what for? Would you do it? Let us know. England goalkeeper as well, Mary Earps, is in the news. She's become the first women's footballer to be honoured with a waxwork of Madame Tussauds. Question I'm going to ask you this morning is that fair on her teammates? I mean, she's not a one-woman team. And Newcastle's ground feasibility study seems to be coming to some kind of conclusion. Just for a bit of context, Spurs matchday income sextupled was the word that used in the paper. I'm sure they could have come up with something better than that. But building the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it means they've made more money, which shows that the challenge that Newcastle faces, the Magpies are bidding to close the gap between them and the teams above them. Want to know your views on what we should do? Should we move the ground? Should we build on the existing stadium? What's your thoughts? Send in some WhatsApps and let us know how you feel. And Egypt FA has rejected a request from Liverpool to leave Mo Salah out of their squad for a friendly against New Zealand during the international break. Yes, it's time to talk about should the club have more power on club versus country for friendlies again. And Brentford have resigned themselves to the fact that Ivan Toney is leaving. Josh Sargent has been picked out as a possible replacement. Of course, he plies his trade at Norwich City at the moment, a team that Sunderland and Middlesbrough know a little bit about. I'll be asking the lads if they think he is good enough to take over from Tony and play in the Premier League. And of course, we do have a big game tonight. It's Sunderland versus Leicester. Top of the table, Leicester, who've been on a bit of a wobble at the moment, and of course lost to Middlesbrough, coming to Sunderland tonight, so we'll look ahead to that game. But as always, we should start with some club headlines.
And just before we do, gentlemen, I think we better address it. It is out there. The WhatsApp group that we don't talk about, there has been a leak for some of the messages, and I would just like to say I'd like to apologise on behalf of all of us. It was an off day, and I'm really, really sorry, and we better not mention it again, eh? Let's start with some club news.
Smoggies and Proud. Borough News.
I'm kind of scared about what Daz just said and trying to process it at the same time. I'm not sure what just happened. Hayden Hackney was presented the Young Player of the Year accolade at last night's North East Football Writers Awards dinner. The Borough youngster collected the prestigious prize at Sunday's annual event, which was hosted at Ramside Hull in Durham. He comes after a breakout year again from the red card-born midfielder who has become a mainstay in Michael Carrick's midfield. Unfortunately, Hayden is currently out with a twisted knee, but he is the sixth Borough player to win the award, following the footsteps in fellow Academy graduates David Wheater, Joe Bennett, Jason Steele, Ben Gibson and Marcus Tavernier. And Middlesbrough women currently sit top of the National League Division 1 North table with just 6 games remaining. Despite that, the message in what has been a big season of change after the merger with Middlesbrough FC in the summer has been that there is absolutely no pressure to achieve promotion in a tough fourth tier, where just one side will only go up. Ahead of their second appearance at the Riverside in 5 days' time, Captain Sarah Byrne said yesterday that promotion is only a bonus to their focus of inspiring the next generation of women footballers in and around Middlesbrough, hoping that they all have the chance to see how well they are doing and how they can be part of the future Middlesbrough women team. Get in, isn't that powerful? And Leo Perkovic came out of hiding to do an inspirational video to get everyone at the Riverside. Again, you can get tickets to that appearance. It's their second appearance at the Riverside in 5 days' time. Head to mfc.co.uk for more information. That's your Borough headlines.
Magpies and Proud. Mags News.
A last gasp effort from midfielder Anthony Munda ensured that Newcastle United's under-21s avoided defeat against Wolves in Monday's Premier League 2 encounter at Kidderminster. The Magpies went ahead when Trevor Sanusi's 8th minute shot struck Temple Ajunga to register an own goal in favour of the visitors. Wolves responded in the 2nd minute of added time, Tom Adozie levelling from a point-blank range after Will Brown failed to deal with Ty Barnett's shot. The host led for the first time in the game on 62 minutes, with teenager Adozie netting his second of the night after Ajunga's first attempt to hit the crossbar. But back came United, though, as the 90th minute ticked around and Munda shot home to register his first reserve team goal and salvage a point. Tickets for the Newcastle's FA Cup quarter-final tie away to Manchester City are now on sale to season ticket holders with 10 points or more. The next drop will be at 10 a.m. today. Ticket prices, well, adults £37.50, senior and young person 35 and under 18s £27.50, that's for level 2. And for level 3, adult prices are £35, senior and young person £32.50 and under 18s £17.50. The ticket distribution in the South Stand looks like the same as last season's 4th round tie against Arsenal, when 7,800 away fans were housed across level 2 and 3. Home fans are in level 1, and the tie will be played on Saturday the 16th of March with a 5:30 kick-off. Kieran Trippier is confident of a positive injury outcome after undergoing a scan on his calf following Newcastle's 3-0 win over Wolves on Saturday afternoon. The Magpies skipper limped off midway through the second half, pulling up after receiving the ball from Martin Dubravka, and the scan seems to have gone well, so fingers crossed he will be available for our game against Chelsea on Monday. That's your Newcastle headlines on Tuesday morning.
Mackems and Proud. Black Cats News.
Good morning, Sunderland fans. Having lost to Norwich City at Carroll Road at the weekend, Sunderland return to home soil tonight as they take on Leicester City at the Stadium of Light. The Foxes will be attempting to complete a league double, having triumphed 1-0 in the reverse fixture at the King Power Stadium October, thanks to a first half goal from James Justin. It probably couldn't come at a worse time to play the league leaders, with Sunderland currently on a run of 4 straight defeats and still missing a number of key players through injury. But, keep the faith, lads and lasses. 2 Sunderland players will be at risk of suspension during the game against Leicester City. Stand-in captain Luke O'Nien and first-choice right-back Trey Hume are both on 9 yellow cards ahead of the game against Leicester tonight, and would miss the games against Southampton and QPR should either receive a caution. Tonight's game does, however, see Dan Ballard return to the squad after completing his 2-game suspension, but also picking up 10 yellow cards. Former Black Cats boss and hater of ketchup, Paulo Di Canio, has spoken his mind about Sunderland's fortunes this season. During the season, they've done a good job because it's obvious when you are close to the top 6 that you are doing well, Di Canio stated. But in this moment, they need to push more, obviously. Because I can't imagine Sunderland not playing in the Premier League because of their supporters, their fans, the stadium. They are absolutely amazing and they deserve to play in the Premier League. He's still as nuts as ever, isn't he? They are your Sunderland headlines.
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink. The North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
He doesn't like ketchup. What's the crack there, like?
He banned it. He banned it from the training ground.
Really?
Completely. Yeah, he banned it out the canteen when he was Sunderland coach. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
It was one of the reasons that John O'Shea eventually went to the chairman and said, "We can't work like this. He's nuts." There was a players' revolt. Yeah, he outlawed ketchup. He was disgusted by their. To be honest, right? I know it's off subject and all that. Di Canio, for all he was absolutely crazy, came to that club and stated clearly what the problems were in that club. And do you know what? He was actually right. They still had the likes of the Tuesday Club going down and getting drunk in Durham. Their diets were all over the place. They were eating what they liked. And actually some of the stuff that he spotted that he was annoyed about was actually very, very true. It's just the rest of it. I mean, he couldn't coach a budgie. He was absolutely awful.
It's a nice segue. Like, what would you ban, Ted? If you could ban something, what would you ban? If you were a football manager?
It's a good question.
Mobile phones anywhere near the dressing room. Anywhere near the change room. Yeah.
Wow.
Complete and utter ban. None of this ridiculous posting pictures of the team after they've won 1-0 against Brentford and rubbish like that. Just get on with it. 100% focus. The fans pay good money to see you play. They don't want to know what car you're going to pick next and who's sponsoring you. Crack on.
Okay, right.
It's a good question. Yeah, good point.
The players that rip their socks. That's a new thing. You seen boys doing this?
Oh, God, yes.
They're like ripping their socks because it makes them go faster or they're too tired or something like that.
It's
Just get
to
larger
combat
socks,
DVT.
boys. Yeah, that. Don't rip your socks.
I mean, it's rife among footballers, though, isn't it? DVT. I mean, it's an epidemic, so no wonder they're doing it. Yeah.
Is it down to the socks? I mean, do you know what I mean, though? Like, is there scientific facts that if I don't rip my socks that I'm getting DVT? Surely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just their way of saying I've got massive calves, me. It's ridiculous. It's posturing.
Okay,
they make them look like a yoga instructor from the 80s.
It looks
stupid. Go on. Then I bet I change it to Madonna. No Madonna music.
No Madonna music? Why?
No. I don't know. I just don't think that would be appropriate.
Madonna music? Who plays Madonna music in the dressing room?
I know there's a few lads.
Do you?
Really?
Which team?
Yeah, cheeky. I can't say. I won't reveal my sources.
All right, okay. Daz, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to ban. Stupid haircuts. And that's not because I'm bald.
Yes. Yeah.
All of these daft, during the season you see a player going through a multitude of haircuts, dyeing his hair, shaving his hair off, growing his hair long, centre parting. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. Just, have a proper lad's haircut. In fact, shave it all off. Shave it all off. It's better
Just
for
streamline them all.
It makes you streamlined. Exactly, that's exactly the word I was looking for. It makes you run quicker, and you can head the ball more accurately. Because if you've got long hair, it's going to affect it. I mean, look at Jason Lee. Look at all the stick that he got as well.
True.
You know, it just brings. If everyone looks the same as well, it'll be perfect. So there we go. Daz, what's your thoughts? What would you ban?
Kids holding up bits of cardboard asking for shirts.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
You don't like that?
No, it's just gone too far, isn't it? I just, no, I just don't. It's desperate. It's like,
wow.
No, if players want to give their shirts, then they should go in the crowd and do it. They're everywhere. Yeah. They're absolutely everywhere. And you can just see the reason, you just see the pain in these kids' faces as the shirt goes to someone else. What are we doing to our youngsters? We're traumatizing them. As parents. Yeah, okay. What we'll do is we'll get this cardboard. We'll get this Amazon box. Have you got a Sharpie? No, we need a thicker one than that. Come on. Yeah. No, spell his name right. Get his name right, and all this sort of stuff. It's all. It's a big bill. You can see bits crossed out and everything. They stood there waiting in the corner where there's a corner coming. There's a throw-in coming. Quick, get the sign up. The dad's holding the kid up with who's holding the sign up. All this sort of stuff. Then at the end of the game, the player comes over and gives it to someone else. We should stop traumatizing our kids.
So how many of these people are, the kids literally aren't the ones wanting the shirts, are they?
No.
So this is the equivalent to basically, getting a bandage, covering it in tomato sauce, sticking it over a kid's eyes and leaving it in the street with a hat asking for change.
Yeah, pretty much. I want to extend 100%. My ban, Steve.
All right, yeah, well, go on. You can have more than one.
Right, I want to extend the mobile phone ban to in the crowd as well.
Ooh.
Because it was the FA Cup game between Liverpool and Norwich. Liverpool, obviously, they ran away with it in the end, but they took the lead. I think it was Van Dijk put them in the lead. And I'm looking at the run into the crowd to celebrate and all that sort. It's FA Cup. It's that passion that you want to see. And there's kids with their mobile phones in their hands, too busy taking videos of Premier League footballers instead of celebrating the goal and having limbs everywhere. It really, really, absolutely rips my knitting. I can't stand it.
So I think another thing I would ban is jewellery on football players, so earrings. Yeah. So, I mean, we've heard stories of, basically footballers having, gold-studded earrings and then dressing rooms being, a sneak thief nipping in and nicking stuff and £1 million earring has disappeared. I mean, they shouldn't be wearing earrings at all. I mean, to go with the skinheads, no jewellery either. No earrings. I mean, that's no nose piercings. None of this rubbish.
That's never a good look, is it? A skinhead with a gold time anti-earring. It's not. That's never a good look.
No. I mean, but you know the type. You know the type. Yes. You got your Pogbas and people like that they've had earrings on, and they should all be made to drive Allegros or Ford Fiestas.
Yeah.
So no Porsches, none of this, no Ferraris in the car park. Everyone should be equal.
Nothing above a Golf GTI.
They should all get an Uber or like a Robin Reliant Uber.
Well, they should all sort of go to an SG Petch or somewhere, and I'll.
I'm sure other car dealers are available.
I know they're listening. So morning, guys.
Sponsor the show.
Yeah, it's like, right, there you go. There's the forecourt. You got to pick one of these. They've all got to get a reasonably priced car. Nothing flash. I think that's a great idea. Because it's
when does that happen for us, Daz? When do we
probably this summer.
Still working on it.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, okay.
And the reason we're working on it is because at 7:20 we'll have to play some ads. So play them, Daz. Yes. We might make 1 million.
That's a good point.
Are you listening?
From Wickham to Whitley Bay, Stonygate to Shields, Doggy to Darlow Backlane, Steve, Ted and Rye. The North East Footy Breakfast.
Right across the North East, the red, the tune and the cow.
had a WhatsApp.
Welcome back.
We've had a WhatsApp in. You can get in touch with the show at any time, or 330 or 43 2002. We'd love to hear from you. It really does make a difference. Newcastle should ban cheesy chips, apparently.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all, is it?
You wish you were us.
Yeah. If you've got any ideas of things you would like to ban at football, at any point in the whole football process, we're off. 0330 or 43 2002. That's our WhatsApp. What would you have banned from football? I was at a game, it must have been last year, and someone, because they're always really careful about what you bring in, aren't they? They're doing the search, let me look in your handbag and stuff. Someone had a full Sunday dinner in a big box. Yorkshire pudding, beef, everything. Yes. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, well, I know they don't sell that here. So how have they got that in? I mean, I know it's not an offensive weapon or anything. But yeah, I've just brought my Sunday dinner with me.
Tablecloth. Knives and forks.
Salt and pepper pot, yeah.
You sit over there, son. Don't mind the football. Yeah, get your elbows off the table.
Wow. That's I mean, there's another category, strange things you've seen at a football game, but a Sunday dinner, I mean, yeah, they shouldn't be doing stuff like that, should they? Shouldn't be allowing that.
I remember, again, going up on a complete segue, but strange things you've seen at a football game. One of my mates once, we used to stand in the old West Stand paddocks, which is now like the Milburn stand. Yeah. That's where we used to stand, and one of my mates couldn't get it. Like, basically, it was a sellout game. It was just after Keegan had taken over as manager in the early 90s, and we got our usual tickets for the paddock. He'd ended up in the Gallagher, and he says, I'll see you at half time, lads. And we never really give it much thought. And then it was at half time that we were just standing, we're having our usual sip of Bovril or whatever it was that we had as kids, and we were like teenagers, 16, 17, and as we're drinking our Bovril, you're looking on the pitch, you can see a couple of subs warming up, and you're looking around, and we saw the people who go onto the pitch, and they're basically, they've got the groundsman stuff, and they're basically like prodding the pitch just to knock any divots back in, etc. And as we're looking at the lads doing that, we just see this. One of the guys seems to be having like some kind of fit, and his shoulders are going backwards and forwards, and we're looking at him going, I recognise him, and it's our mate who has gone onto the side of the pitch, nicked one of the guys' coats. Because they all used to wear these proper coats, and he's actually on the pitch pretending to be a groundsman to try and get over to where we are in the paddocks. Unfortunately, us shouting Brian, and him then bursting out laughing didn't go down too well with the security and the police in the ground, who then proceeded to get him, take the coat off him, and chuck him out the ground. So we did see him, but only briefly. So I wouldn't advise that. Anybody sitting at home listening to the North East Footy Breakfast show, don't do that now. You'll get a lifetime ban or a season ticket ban. But it was funny, lads. It was funny. But yeah, that was a bizarre thing. Not as bizarre as Sheffield United's defence.
Nicely done.
Which is now leaked 50 goals, lads. And I made a quip last night that God help the referee if he's eating a sandwich when Chris Wilder goes in to see him. But Chris Wilder, a bit like the Yorkshire Rippers lawyer, didn't really have much defence. He's literally turned up there and said, I've just got to accept we're the worst team on the pitch on the night. So he's been honest, lads. He's been honest. Arsenal played some wonderful football last night, but Sheffield United again, just not at the races, lads. And they're down now. There's no doubt about it. I don't think they had any chance before last night, but it doesn't look good, does it, Ted? And Chris Wilder's got a hell of a rebuilding job on his hands, if indeed he's there next season.
I don't think he will be there next season, to be honest, because he's clearly lost it. I mean, even changing shape halfway through the first half, it was just, he got everything absolutely wrong. That's not taken away from Arsenal, as much as Sheffield United were absolutely dire. Arsenal 5-0 up at half-time. They just played some of the most sensational, one-touch, fast-paced, powerful football that I've seen in a long time. It was an absolute joy to watch them. Odegaard, for me, it just looked... He's up there with De Bruyne this season, I think, in terms of quality. Odegaard's really he's come of age. I know he had that big move to Real Madrid as a young lad. And that's a lot of pressure on such young shoulders. But he's come to Arsenal and he's just grown into just a high quality Premier League player. And everything went through him last night. And Sheffield United just didn't have an answer. The only surprise last night was that Sheffield United, I think, only picked up one booking, because the frustration level of not being able to get near those players, it's just, they're not even a gulf apart from Arsenal. It's more than that, whatever more than a gulf is. That's how far away Sheffield United are being from being a Premier League team. They were just slow. They had no real answer to any kind of class from them. And to be honest, like, I know Rice and the rest of the Smoggies are not Chris Wilder fans anyway, but I'm kind of happy that's happened to him in a way, because I just feel like it was a bit of a weaselly way he got the job. You know, he sort of made friends with the chairman again while Heckingbottom was still there, and I just feel like he weaseled his way back into a job in Sheffield United. So karma's always watching, Mr. Wilder.
Yeah, right. You're not a big fan of Chris Wilder.
No.
I mean, Sheffield United, I mean, I don't know, you know, for me personally, I've always quite liked the club and I've liked the fans, and, you know, I've never had trouble down there. I've mentioned in the past it's only ever South Yorkshire police who aren't very welcoming when you go down there. But yeah, I mean, look, they're just they're in a right mess. And I mean, you know, if there's a team that shows the gulfing class between the Premiership and the Championship, then Sheffield United's it.
Yeah, not wrong. And it was a wild appointment for Chris Wilder to go in. I mean, Heckingbottom had done such a great job there. They were absolutely far and above when they're in the Championship. Now, obviously, Burnley were just above that, but you know, they were solid in second all year. And you can see the Championship, how tough it is this year with Southampton and Leeds and everything like that. But you know, the season post that was all Sheffield United or Burnley, and to see them struggling so much just. It scares me how large this gap is now, because I honestly thought Burnley would actually be okay. I didn't think Sheffield United would be okay, just due to the fact that it was already probably first few games you could see they're already on Heckingbottom's back and stuff like that. But then to go to point Chris Wilder, oh my God, the man just blames everyone but himself. It was good. It was interesting to see him last night take some of the criticism on board and put his hand up and say it's on me, but. He's still got that arrogance about him that I'm a Premier League manager and this is and he's like, and he's like, and the referee's still not looking after us and blah blah blah. It's just he's got every excuse under the sun to put it on somebody else, and he's never really taken ownership of it. And I mean, it shocked me that a bloke's managing a club that's shipped 50 goals when he went to Watford for 10 games and only won 2 of them. I mean, if he can't get a win at Watford. I mean, how's he going to go win with Sheffield United in the Premier League? It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I wish him not the best, because he was annoying at Borough. He was frustrating. He was doing the Burnley links. He was just using our club, and I've just got no time for him. Kind of like the Alex Neil, I guess you could say. Or for me, it's just a really sour taste of when he left our club, I reckon, Daz.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, I watched the first. I think I saw the first 4 goals go in, and then I thought, I'm going to do something else. I don't think I need to watch any more of this. But I tuned back in to hear his interview, because I just wanted to hear what he had to say.
I know, right?
Which was really interesting. Telly, I can't stand the guy. I'm sorry. There's not many people that I'm not fond of, but he's one of them. It wasn't just the way that he treated the club or the players or even the fans when he was at Borough. I think it's just the arrogance of the man. Things are never his fault. And he was all over the place last night talking about, don't know what we're going to do, and maybe I'll throw the kids in, and don't blame the players, and one thing and another. No, I think people are blaming you, as well, Chris, because he feels as though he's bulletproof, and he just isn't. Yeah, and it's like, there's this is my opinion, but I just think sometimes there's just quite a few of these charlatans around who talk the talk, have a their ego is bigger than their coaching ability. And yeah, it's just, I suppose sometimes it's entertaining to see. But I refer to Gary Monk, who just got another job at Cambridge. There's another guy who is absolutely stealing a living. When you look at the record, look at his record. I just, I'm excuse me, I'm with Ted. I don't think he'll be there next season. I think he'll look and go, no, I'm a Premier League manager. Don't eat a sandwich in front of me. I'm going to be here in the Premier League next year, and come and get me because I'm really important.
Yeah, it's a strange situation but thankfully nothing to do with any of the North East teams
anymore.
What is to do with the North East team is though Sunderland. We covered it a little bit yesterday. Sunderland got a game which we'll be looking at in the second half of this morning's show. But support the team, not the regime. It's a phrase that I coined under Mike Ashley, and a lot of the supporters groups went with it. It's a simple message. We're you're black and white or you're red and white. You support your team. No matter who owns the club. And it was a difficult mantra for us to stick to under Mike Ashley. 14 years of neglect, and ended up getting into the position that we're in with FFP really because of the way he ran the club. But now SAFC Spirit of 37 are printing T-shirts. 1,800 plus orders was the message that I saw on social media the other night. These are T-shirts that are against their owner, KLD, as he's affectionately known. And I just wanted to say to Ted, are things really that bad? And difficult question to ask you because nobody can speak for supporters. I think I'd put it in our notes for this morning's show. What do Sunderland fans want? Nobody can speak for the fans, so I wouldn't put you in that position. But what do you want as a Sunderland fan is the question. And if let's say there was money coming in from the Saudis, for instance, if there was a Saudi bid, Saudi ownership, would that be something that you would take? Because and I saw a lot of fans, the Sunderland fans, Newcastle fans as well, who were against the Saudi takeover, but calling it blood money, etc., sports washing. We know the script. Is it as bad that you would, even contemplate taking something like that just to get these people out of the club?
Well, one thing we do know, the one constant in football is that football fans are fickle, Steve.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you can complain about something 1 minute. I would boo Alan Shearer quite heartily, but as soon as he pulled an England shirt on, he was somebody who had Shearer on till the bitter end. It's one of them things. But me personally, I don't believe for a minute that Kirill Louis-Dreyfus is coming to our club to hurt it in any way or to deliberately disappoint the fans or anything as ridiculous as that. What he has done is got the model wrong, and I think he's got the wrong man to assist him in the football side of the club. And I put a post out there on the cat and on the page I write for as well on Facebook, on our Facebook page, saying that, Sunderland fans, it's our club. What do you think should happen? And somebody picked me up on and said, well, it's not our club, it's Kirill Louis-Dreyfus' club, and he can do with it what he wants. Well, I disagree, because ultimately, owners of clubs, managers and head coaches of clubs, players of clubs will all come and go. One constant at a football club is the fans. They're what makes the club. And you can argue that, if you get into the Premier League, they can afford to play games behind closed doors. Maybe be the case. Probably not with smaller clubs such as ours, where if we did get into the Premier League, we would be classed as small fry, I guess. But the fans are the one constant, and they, in their numbers, if it's done correctly, can enforce change. Now, there's obviously a lot of noise on social media right now that Speakman should go. That's the overwhelming feeling among the fans, that the model isn't working. I think if there was an admission that the model isn't working, which it clearly isn't. You know, that you only have to look at the form, and an admission that the appointments made have not been correct, and there was obviously a mistake getting rid of Mowbray as well. But they'll never really admit to that. They've got to come clean and say, okay, we've tried it this way, it's not working, and then they need to invest. Nobody is going to give them a hard time for saying, do you know what, we've got it wrong so far, but we're going to put it right. And that's all we need. It needs investment, because right now it was already a little bit, it was a little bit iffy the way that the amount of shares was publicised. That Kira Louis-Dreyfus didn't have a control and share at first. He had a major part of it, but still it was the old Madrox lot who collectively had more shares than him. That isn't the case now. But all the same, the way that dealing was done was just it left a bit of a bad taste in everyone's mouths. Now we'll get further down the line, and you got a team who finished in the playoffs last season. Pretty soundly beaten by Luton in the playoff semi-finals, okay, but you think, okay, a little bit of investment here and we can really kick on next season, and it doesn't come. And we're starting to think, well, is there any money here at all? Because right now, we're being run like Kira Louis-Dreyfus' business project for his university degree in Harvard. That's what it feels like. He's almost trying to prove a point, that his method, whatever his method is that he's come up with, is the way to run a football club. Well, no, it isn't. And sometimes you need to admit mistakes, and you need to put those mistakes right. And you know what? Sunderland fans will absolutely love him if he turns around and says, "Yeah, I'm getting it wrong. Sorry, guys, we're going to put this right." And either put it right himself or put the club up for sale, and let somebody take charge of it who can do it right. And I think that probably speaks for most Sunderland fans.
Yeah, no, I can understand your frustration, because we've been there, done it, got the T-shirt. Before we go into the next ad break, just want to ask you, Ry, about this. What's your take on what's going on down the road at Sunderland?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, what shocked me when I first started looking into it, obviously I didn't really pay too much attention to what was happening up the road until obviously we did the North East Brekky show, and then it became sort of second knowledge just to sort of look at more into Newcastle and Sunderland, and to see a 26-year-old guy that's never managed a football club now be the chairman of such a prestigious club in Sunderland with the history they've got. It just doesn't make sense. And you can see right from the get-go that a 26-year-old that's never managed a football club, let alone Sunderland, was just never really going to work. And I think it's all stemmed down from that into just complete off-field issues. And I was saying this yesterday to Ted, and one question that sort of kept running through my mind is, if I was a fan at that club at the moment, my frustration, it would be so hard, because my frustration wouldn't be with the players. I feel like the players are doing what they can with constant manager changes. But when it's so much drama off-field, I don't know how you can perform on-field when you've got so much noise in the background. If you're a footballer rocking up to this club day in, day out, and there's just different news articles, and we're talking about banning phones and stuff like that. I mean, they see it. I mean, they are so connected with this day and age that they see the noise, they hear it from the fans, and Ted's absolutely right. Fans are forever. Fans have been at Sunderland long before Kira was even born, and they'll be there long after he goes as well. And these fans are Sunderland for life. They don't change. They don't go to a different club because they get bought out or anything like that. They are Sunderland till they die. And it just sucks that if someone can come in to a club that you love, that you've been there supporting for years, much like you, Steve, and see a Mike Ashley sort of run that into the ground, because you were there long before Mike Ashley, and you're there long after Mike Ashley now as well. Do you know what I mean? I dare say Mike Ashley doesn't think about Newcastle in his sleep, sort of thing. So it's a sad state of affairs when you see a club as prestigious as Sunderland, and I say that through gritted teeth, because us three North East teams, we've been doing it for a fair bit of time, to see a club being ran so poorly in the North East, because something's going to change and something's got to give, because the players and the fans, it just can't keep continuing like this. It can't, otherwise they'll be back down in League One.
Yep, the fans are the true custodians of the football clubs, and that's what owners need to remember. Okay, slightly late for the ads, but we'll be back after this.
Thank you very much. I went to the doctor. He said, "You've got a very serious illness." I said, "I want a second opinion." He said, "All right, you're ugly as well." I said to the doctor, "Doctor, I've only got 59 seconds to live." He said, wait over there a minute.
If Tommy was still here, he'd say taking your heart medicine ain't no laughing matter. It helps you stick around longer. So if you can't get to the docs but have questions about medication for angina, high blood pressure or cholesterol, call the British Heart Foundation Heart Nurses on 0300 333 0333.
Just like that.
Visit bhf.org.uk.
This is Elton John. Hello, I'm Phil Collins.
Hi, this is Lionel Richie.
This is not just any old 80s show. Join me for 80s Mint. 2 hours of the best 80s music and memories. Right here, every Saturday night from 9 and Sundays from noon.
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink. The North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
Welcome back to the North East Footy Brekky show, and just before the yard break we were talking about Sunderland, and we're talking about football clubs in general when they're up against it with the fans, and people protesting is the only way, I guess, at times. But interesting development at the weekend, which we didn't get around to discussing yesterday, was the Bundesliga's bottom club Darmstadt lost 6-0 at home to Augsburg. But at full time, one of the club's ultras went onto the pitch to address the players in front of the stand. Now they're 12 points from safety with 10 games left to play. The question I'm going to put to the lads this morning is it a good idea to have a fan going onto the pitch and talking to the players and letting them know exactly what he thinks? Would you do it, Ted? Is this something that you would be up for if your team had just lost 6-0 at home? Would you be able to control what you were saying, for starters?
No. which is exactly the reason why I don't think fans should be allowed to do it, because if you're getting to that stage, if you're having to get a fan to explain the importance of what it is to play for a specific club, then your management team's failed, because that should be coming. I mean, the players should realise that for themselves. I've always said you should play for the badge on the front of the shirt instead of the name on the back. Certain media outlets out there might disagree with that, but we'll take that up on Twitter, because I'm a brave man. But for me, no, you've failed the second you do that as a club and as a management team. You failed the minute you let fans take over with that. I get it, and fans in their numbers will always make their frustrations felt. It's the fans' game ultimately, or it certainly used to be when it was good. But yeah, I think that sets a dangerous precedent. Every football fan wants the opportunity to do that, but I think the long-reaching effects of that is really bad on the football club. I think the coaching team, certainly, they're the ones who should be speaking to the players, and the players themselves should realise the importance of what it is to play for your club.
What's your thoughts, Rye? I can imagine the Borough players being a bit worried about you going onto the pitch.
Yep, I think they would be completely, and especially if I was running directly towards Riley McGree. I think he'd be running for the races. That's for sure. If I was heading directly into his direction, no, I concur with Ted. I think it's every fan's dream to be able to get out there and coach the lads, but as we just said before, we're as fickle as they come. Do you know what I mean? We're happy when we win and we're sad when we lose. And if you want to get a fan in to chat to the lads, then what are you doing as a manager? Because, why can't you inspire your lads up for victory? Do you know what I mean? It seems like a last-ditch effort for me. And if you're going to do it, maybe do it behind closed doors, because it kind of is an embarrassment for the players, I would argue. I've heard players, from my club and from other clubs go on podcasts, which they do regularly, and they always say, there's a line that, that Tom Glover used just recently on a podcast here in Australia. Obviously, Tom Glover, our backup goalkeeper, he said, I don't care what Johnny with a milkshake in his hand has to say. I'm only going to listen to my coaches. Now, if you have one of those types of players out there with one of these ultras that runs on, imagine how that's going to be taken from a player like that who doesn't want to listen to what the fans have to say because all he needs to worry about is his coaches. And that's the right mentality. If he's got to answer to anyone, it's his coaches because they're the ones that pick him, put him in for the first team and stuff like that. So you've got to be careful because, you know, there's not just, you know, one player out there. There's 11 players that could take that differently. And you don't know with certain fans. Could it become violent? Could it become too aggressive? Could it become racially slurred? Like, you know, could it become, arrogant? Could it become anything? You know, could the wrong thing be said? You know, we're having news here in Australia at the moment from the AFL where we saw a coach going off at a player for a bad tackle on the weekend in our local sport AFL. Now he's, you know, having to face the press because he was the one that, you know, went off at them. So how's a fan meant to control what they say when they've got no formal training sort of thing? So I think it's inappropriate. I think if you're going to do it, for whatever reason, you do it behind closed doors and you don't let that happen in a modern day sort of scenario. It's too dangerous and it's too degrading, I guess, to a player base that, you know, are getting played millions of pounds of football and they should be, like Ted said, ready to go at a moment's notice. And, you know, that's what they're there for. And if they're not there, then they're not the right players for your club.
Does?
So was this allowed then? They allowed this to happen?
Yes, it happened. Yeah, it happened.
It was instigated. He was allowed onto the pitch by the club.
What? Why? I mean, the players, you know that the fans are there, and I'm pretty certain that those players will be fully aware of how those fans are feeling at the moment, the form that they're in, you know, the results that they're, you know, the goals that they're getting smashed past them. I just don't get the mentality of the club here. You know how much of an influence have these ultras got over the club to allow this thing to happen. You know me. I mean, I've sort of, you know, as many of us have been through kids football, you know, with my lads, and I've seen, you know, the way that what goes on the pitch influences what the kids do on a Saturday and Sunday morning. Yeah. I just think this is another just crazy thing that will get out there and that kids will see, and that, you know, unfortunately other parents and other nutters will see as well and think, oh well, that's all right then, you know, let's go and abuse our players, you know, if they can do that in the Bundesliga. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's the game's gone mad, and, you know, if whoever it is in charge of German football, you know, the German FA needs to come down on this hard and go, look, you know, what the hell are you doing? You know what they need to do, Daz? You know what they need to do is give the fans like these cardboard signs, right, where they say, you guys are crap, but if you wouldn't mind giving me your shirt at the end of the game, that'd be fantastic. That's how they get through to them, Matt. Yeah.
Of all the leagues, though, to do it, I mean, they've let a crazy German-speaking guy speak at length in front of thousands of people in a stadium. I mean, the last time that happened in Germany, mate.
Yeah, not wrong.
I think at the end of the day, it's a strange scenario for any club to allow, you know, the ultras to have such a communication with, you know, with the hierarchy and allow them to do that. I've seen other examples of supporters being allowed to do things, but it's usually quite structured, and I can imagine that the checks on that particular person are quite deep. But I do remember the old dossier, yeah. But I do think that the guy, for example, who takes the photographs for Arsenal, I believe, is it Arsenal or is it West Ham? I've seen a couple of times. Yeah, it's Arsenal. He's the club's photographer, but he's a big fan, and I think they allowed him. It might have been the All or Nothing TV program that I watched it on Amazon about Arsenal. But one particular game, they allowed him to come in and do the team talk. Now, obviously, the players know him because he takes the photographs of the team. But in all intents and purposes, he's a fan. You know, he's somebody who got the job, been there for years, been part of the fabric of the club, but because he's a supporter, he's emotionally attached. So I think doing something like that, I think is great, you know. And the problem we would have, I guess, in this country, I'm not sure what it's like, in the country where this has happened. But in this country, you would have, the green-eyed monster would rear its head if somebody suggested that Steve Wraith goes in and does the team talk because the team aren't playing well. I mean, it would cause absolute social media meltdown in the UK.
Not wrong.
If you suggested Adam P or another high-profile YouTuber did it, there would be pandemonium, and I'm sure it would be the same at Middlesbrough. If the suggested Rye did it, for starters, you'd have people going, well, he's in Australia, why are they flying him over on Dave's private jet to come and do this talking? It would be that kind of reaction. I mean, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't do it, mind. If I, you've got to think about it in the grand scheme of things. I, as a supporter, have put my love and my support and my loyalty on the line for this football club on more than one occasion as a supporter. And as a supporter of a North East club, we've all done it because we're always backing the losing horse. We're always the bridesmaid, never the bride. So for me, I would do it. I would take the stick that I got. I definitely would. If I got invited to go and do a team talk, whether it be on the pitch or whether it be in the in the dressing room to the team, I'd snap your hands off to go and do it because it would be a one-off, unique opportunity. It's a money can't buy opportunity, and imagine if the team wins. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Win, lose or draw, you'd have the memory, but I guess a follow-on question to that would be, what would you say to the team? How would you choose to motivate your team? And I guess for me personally, it's a bit different at the moment because Newcastle have won more than they've lost in the last couple of years. But going back into the Ashley era, if I'd had the opportunity to go in there and speak to them, I would have accentuated the positives. I would have said, look, you've got to understand that the supporters are the heart and beating heart of the club, and the owners are just the custodians. And I would probably ask them a couple of questions, make them think a little bit. What is what's going on off the pitch something that is affecting you? If it is affecting you, you need to close that out. The fans will get behind you. The fans are 100% supportive of you. We want you to win. We think you're great. You give them a bit of a boost. You do a bit of man management. Give them a bit of a boost. But go in with the positives, accentuate the positives. Don't mention any negatives, and give them a real confidence boost, but tell them how much it means to you, and explain how much the club means to you. Explain that there's 52,000 people sitting in that stadium who whole aim in life is to see Newcastle win a trophy, and you guys can be the people who do that. It would be an amazing opportunity, and I think it's brave. But I mean, Rye, what do you think you would say to Borough now if you had the opportunity to go in and speak to Middlesbrough now? Michael Carrick's in the dressing room.
Pronounce all their names wrong.
Once you've calmed yourself down and had the excitement of seeing your favourite players, and you'd have to compose yourself.
I would.
He'd be like a toddler on Red Bull, wouldn't he?
No, it'd be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Nah, what I'd do, I'd be professional. I'd walk in, I'd say, righto, Australians on this side of the room, everyone else on the other side of the room, and then I'd go straight to the Aussies and I'd go, listen, lads, these blokes don't know what they're doing, but you three here, you know exactly what it's like to be a proper footballer, all right? You us Australians, it's born into us now. I would probably lean on the side of just my military sort of. I mean, I led squads and platoons and stuff like that in my time, I guess. I would probably go through those sort of leadership tactics of I mean, I remember, prior to going to Afghanistan, having to talk to, I was only 24, 25 at the time, and I was talking to young 18-year-old kids, trying to psych them up to go to war, really. And it was an eye-opening experience. It was something that I took seriously. I took on, and it grew me up as a person. And I think I'd probably just try and level with them on a personal level, because behind the footballer is a person. I think sometimes that's forgotten. And if we were on a bad run of form and stuff like that, I'd probably try and come down to their level on a personal thing and go, and trying to attack, how are we feeling? Because, I mean, Carrick's, for instance, at the moment, if I was to go into tomorrow or today, I would attack the idea of this confidence, this lack of confidence that these lads have. And I try and build that up, and I try and target that into some of these lads, because all it takes is one or two players to find that click or find that confidence. And then a Finn Azaz goal goes in, and all of the boys can sort of go off that. Even if you just reach one or two boys into turning that confidence, switch on or back on, the rest sort of can follow. So I'd probably attack it from that angle and fall back onto some of those military sort of cues, I guess, if that was, if I was being serious, and asked to do it. And of course, Steve, I completely agree with you. I think if you were given the opportunity, you wouldn't say no. I mean, I beg, borrow and steal to try and get back to the Riverside one day and all the way from Australia, and do everything they can to go from the home away from home that is, Middlesbrough Football Club for me. So of course I would take the flack from the fans and all that sort of stuff, and I would go and meet the guys that are my heroes and try and sort of level with them on a personal level. Ted?
Yeah, I mean, if I was in that position, I guess it's I would love the old video montage, show them what that stadium was like under Peter Reid, the 2 7th place finishes, when it was packed every single time we played. It was difficult to get a ticket. At the full houses, you look at the likes of Quinn and Phillips, you look at the 6 derby wins in a row and all that kind of thing, and these young lads, what I would be trying to impress on them is you absolutely make yourself a god here. Whatever you do in your career after this, you will have your time at Sunderland look back on and go, that's what made me. And those fans are what made me. Because honestly, when things are going well at Sunderland, and all right, that's few and far between in recent years, let's be honest. But when things click at that club, there's no better place for a player to be. It's just the most incredible feeling. We love an underdog. We don't expect to win every single game. That's the thing. But as long as you go out there and absolutely bust a gut, we'll cheer every tackle. Not even goals, but go out there and make a name for yourself. Make us go, remember when he played for Sunderland? We want these young lads to go on and play for Man City's, Barcelona's, Real Madrid's. I want to see that, mate. I'll be so proud of that. Go out and make a name for yourselves and go and set that standard.
You're listening to the North East Footy Brekky show. Into the second hour. We are going to have a quick break for some news and a little bit of music, and we'll be back after this.
The red, the tune, the cat, weather.
It's going to be a cloudy day, and this morning you'll see spells of rain, some locally heavy. It'll become a dry afternoon, and it will remain largely overcast. A maximum temperature today of 10 Celsius. Tonight it'll remain cloudy, but it will be generally dry, apart from a few spells of light rain which could move in from the east. Patchy mist and fog may also develop during the early hours, but it's not going to be too cold. A minimum temperature tonight of 4 degrees, so that's not too bad, is it?
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink, the North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the red, the tune and the cat.
It is the North East Footy Breakfast, and you can get in touch at any time on the WhatsApp 0330 or 43 2002. We'd love to hear from you this morning. Have your say on anything that's happening in North East or the wider football field. 0330 or 43 2002. And we'll be back with more footy chat after this from Kate Bush. Good morning.
Welcome back to the North East Footy Brekky show, and it is me, Rai, and Ted and Daz. on the wheels of steel this morning.
Good
to see
morning.
everybody. And we've got plenty to talk about on the North East Footy Breakfast show. We will be looking ahead to Sunderland versus Leicester before the end and getting the lads' predictions. And still got a couple of topics that we want to talk about. Mary Earps, of course, being honoured at the Madame Tussauds Waxworks. Going to have a chat about that. Newcastle's new ground. Will you stay or will you go? What's people's thoughts? And Egypt's FA rejecting the opportunity for Mo Salah to opt out of a friendly to Liverpool. Not very happy campers Liverpool about this, and it's that club versus country argument again. And if we've got time, we'll talk about Josh Sargent as well. Is he a good replacement, do you think, for Ivan Toney in the Premier League? But as always, we have some North East footy headlines to get through from our respective clubs.
Smoggies and Proud. Borough News.
Good morning, Borough fans. Hope you're all fantastic, safe and well on this Tuesday morning. Hayden Hackney was presented with the Young Player of the Year accolade at last night's North East Football Writers Awards dinner. The Borough youngster collected the prestigious prize at Sunday's annual event, which was hosted at Ramside Hull in Durham. The award was presented by Michael Carrick, and it comes after a breakout year from the red car-born midfielder who has become a mainstay in Michael Carrick's midfield. Unfortunately, Hayden Hackney, currently out with a twisted knee, he is the sixth Borough player to win the award, following in the footsteps of fellow Academy graduates David Wheater, Joe Bennett, Jason Steele, Ben Gibson and Marcus Taverner. And Middlesbrough women currently sitting top of the National League Division 1 North table with just 6 games remaining. Despite that, the message in what has been a big season of change after the merger with Middlesbrough FC in the summer has been that there is absolutely no pressure to achieve permission or even charge for it into what will be a tough 4th tier where just one side can go up. Ahead of their second appearance at the Riverside in 5 days' time, Captain Sarah Burns said although promotion would be a massive bonus, their only focus is inspiring the next generation of Middlesbrough women footballers. What an absolute legend that is. Leo also came out onto the club's website and spoke about getting behind the Middlesbrough women in 5 days' time at the Riverside. If you want to go in to attend and watch the amazing girls play, then get on the mfc.co.uk for tickets today. That is your Borough headlines. Good morning.
Magpies and Proud. Mags News.
A last gasp effort from midfielder Anthony Munda ensured Newcastle's under-21s avoided defeat against Wolves in Monday's Premier League 2 encounter at Kidderminster. The Magpies went ahead when Trevin Sanusi's 8th-minute shot struck Temple Ajinga to register an own goal in favour of the visitors. Wolves responded in the 2nd minute of added time, Tom Adozie levelling from point-blank range after Will Brown failed to deal with Ty Barnett's shot. The hosts led for the first time in the game on 62 minutes when teenager Adozie netting his 2nd of the night after Ajinga's first attempt hit the crossbar. But back came United. In the 90th minute tick around, Munda shot home to register his first reserve team goal and salvage a point. Tickets for Newcastle's FA Cup quarter-final tie away to Manchester City are now on sale to season ticket holders with 10 points or more. The next point drop will be at 10 o'clock today. We are in level 2 and level 3. Ticket prices for level 2 are £37.50 for adults, £35 for senior and young person and £27.50 for under 18s. And in level 3, adults are £35, senior and young person £32.50 and under 18 £17.50. Ticket distribution in the South Stand looks the same as last season's 4th round tie against Arsenal when 7,800 away fans were given tickets. The tie will be played on Saturday the 16th of March with a 5:30 kick-off. And good news on the injury front, perhaps. Kieran Trippier is confident of a positive injury outcome after undergoing a scan on his calf following Newcastle's 3-0 win over Wolves on Saturday afternoon. The Magpie skipper limped off midway through the second half, pulling up after receiving the ball from Martin Dubravka. That's your Newcastle headlines on Tuesday the 5th of March.
Mackems and Proud. Black Cats News.
Happy Tuesday and happy match day, Sunderland fans. Having lost to Norwich City at Carrow Road at the weekend, Sunderland return to home soil tonight as they take on Leicester City at the Stadium of Light. The Foxes will be attempting to complete a league double, having triumphed 1-0 in the reverse fixture at the King Power Stadium in October, thanks to a first-half goal from James Justin. It probably couldn't come at a worse time to play the league leaders though, with Sunderland currently on a run of 4 straight defeats and still missing a number of key players through injury. But, you know, kick the faith, lads and lasses. Two Sunderland players will be at risk of suspension during the game against Leicester City tonight. Stand-in captain Luke on 9 and first choice right back Trey Hume are both on 9 yellow cards ahead of the Championship game tonight and would miss the games against Southampton and QPR should either receive a caution. Tonight's game does, however, see Dan Ballard return to the squad after completing his 2-game suspension for picking up 10 yellow cards. And former Black Cats boss and hater of ketchup Paolo Di Canio has spoken his mind about Sunderland's fortunes this season. During the season, they have done a good job because it's obvious when you are close to the top 6 that you are doing well, Di Canio stated. But in this moment, they need to push more obviously, because I can't imagine Sunderland not playing in the Premier League because of their supporters, their fans, the stadium. They are absolutely amazing and they deserve to play in the Premier League. Mad as a box of frogs, but we love them anyway. There are your Sunderland headlines.
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink. The North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
Good morning, it is the North East Footy Breakfast. We are 14 minutes past 8 this morning and we've had a WhatsApp in, I think it's aimed at me actually. It's from a CW message from Mr. Radio Uncle. Let's get together for a beer this week. How about round the back of the Red Lion? Yours, Chris Wilder. Oh, he's not happy. He's not happy.
I honestly didn't know where that message was going to go. Because I'll meet you around the back of the pub. Okay.
Yeah, moving on. You can get in touch with the show at any point via WhatsApp 0330 043 2002. We'd love to hear from you.
Great stuff, and don't forget we've had a few topics that you had chuck in the WhatsApp. Would you what would you say to your team if you got a chance to go on the pitch or go into the dressing room? It is a good one. What would you ban from football as well if you're looking for ideas to WhatsApp in? I'm going to talk about a player that is plying his trade in the Championship, Josh Sargent, who is at Norwich City. Of course, he's an American professional soccer player who plays as a forward or winger. He's 81 appearances, 26 goals. He's been touted as a possible replacement for Ivan Toney, who most people would expect to leave Brentford this summer in a big money deal. Where else did he ply his trade before he came to Norwich? Well, he was at Werder Bremen. Probably made his big break there in 2018. 12 appearances, 7 goals, and then he obviously got his full-time contract there and was there until 2021 before the move to Norwich. 72 appearances, 13 goals in all appearances. He has played at international level as well. Worked his way through the 17s, the under-20s, the under-23s and into the full national team where he scored 5 goals in 23 appearances. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one this. Centre forwards are, they're very difficult to find, those who score lots and lots of goals in the Premier League, and if they get into the Premier League and do well, then and they're picked up for a cheap fee, then that's basically what Premier League teams are looking for. But I don't know a great deal about him. Not really seen anything of him. Couldn't say whether he's going to be that kind of player that Brentford need or not. But is he Premier League class, Ted?
I think he's got the potential because he's still only 24 years old. So there's still a little bit of development time. Maybe it's another 2 years before he hits absolute, like what you would expect to be at his peak, I suppose. So there's still some potential there. He did play in the Premier League. He had 29 appearances in the Premier League for Norwich City and scored only 4 goals. But you're kind of going back 2 or 3 years for that now. Obviously I saw him in action at the weekend. He took his goal reasonably well. He's not what I would call a classic striker. He was busy. He didn't get an awful lot of chances either. Sorry, I'm sure you can pretty much hear Mrs. Ted is absolutely lambasting the cats for making too much noise in the background. It's all professional here. I think he's got the potential to be, but right now, if I was Brentford and I was going to get decent money for an Ivan Toney, I'll maybe be setting the sights a little bit higher, and that's no disrespect to Josh Sargent. Sure, bring him in as a backup, maybe. Like you say, he can play across the front. Busy kind of player. Championship-wise, he's in double figures this season of 17 appearances in total. 13 goals last season from 41. So he's not what you would call, if you're not hitting 20 goals a season in the Championship, I just see a little bit of difficulty making that jump up to the Premier. I think, as a backup, maybe as somebody to develop a little bit more, but he's not going to set the world alight. I think Brentford may feel a little bit disappointed if that is going to be the solitary answer to the Ivan Toney question.
What's your thoughts, Rye? Is he Premier League class?
Yeah, he's the best striker in the world because he always scores against us, the curly redhead head bloke. I tell you, every time he plays against us, he puts one blast us in Borough. He was literally, he's the best striker I've ever seen. No, honestly, every time Borough play him, he scores. So I think he's got a big future ahead of him. I think he's doing well in the Championship. I think he could make the step up as well. I just think that he's got a little bit of way to go to play that lone striker role. He's often played with someone at Norwich, so he's now next to Ida, I think it is. And before that, I'm trying to think of who he was next to last season. But he's always got someone next to him. He's not a striker that can play by himself. He hasn't got that build for it. He's got that exciting flair, sort of, I don't know how to, like bulldog-ish nature to him, where he just runs all day and sort of gets into the right spots. More of a poacher, but he's someone that needs someone next to him. And not many teams these days play the two strikers up front. Now, Brentford do, so he would fit into that system of playing next to, I can't think who plays next to Ivan Toney at the moment, but it is something that I think, he could make the jump up, but he's the type of striker that always has someone next to him. And I just think that's something that I've always noticed, is that unless he's got someone next to him who takes that bigger defender away, he kind of gets pushed off the ball a bit too much. He's just not a big, tough lad, if that makes any sense. And I think there's a few defenders in the Premier League that probably eat him up because of his size and his smaller nature, I guess you could say.
Daz, what's your thoughts on Josh Arden? I mean, you'll have seen him play as well.
Yeah. I mean, he looks a decent player. He looks sharp. I mean, I'm not sure if he's quite ready yet to replace Toney. But how do these players develop and get better without being thrust upon it? Sometimes sometimes they need to be put into that situation to be tested. The jury's still out on me at the moment for him. He looks a decent player, but I think he's maybe a year or two away from development to becoming something a bit special.
Okay, you are listening to the North East Footy Breakfast Show. Still more to come before 9 o'clock. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
From Wickham to Whitley Bay, Stonygate to Shields, Doggy to Darlow Backlane, Steve, Ted and Rye. The North East Footy Breakfast.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
Welcome back to the North East Footy Breakfast Show, and I just want to say, in one, respect to Tony Green, who has passed away at the wonderful age of 85. Tony, of course, on Bullseye for many years alongside his sidekick Jim Bowen. It was one of those programmes we all used to watch in the UK and all wonder why somebody in Stockport and what we're going to do with a speedboat. But yeah, Tony Green sadly passed away. Breaking news this morning. So respect to him. Lots of happy childhood memories, I would imagine, lads.
TV legend. Absolutely. Sunday tea time at its finest, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
The only thing was, right after that was highway, and you knew you had to get a bath before you went to school tomorrow.
A bath?
Oh yeah.
God, you had a bath.
Posh
God
us.
almighty.
You were lucky.
You were lucky.
Is this a Monty Python sketch?
I think so. It started as one, yeah.
I bet you had butter on your toast as well. not last.
Absolute crumpets, mate. Crumpets.
We all like a bit of crumpet, lads. Moving on.
Absolutely.
Moving on, sir. So Newcastle's ground feasibility study looks like it's coming to conclusion. And as we spoke a little bit about this in the past, with it coming to a conclusion now, it's the big reveal at some point as to whether Newcastle are going to build on the extending ground at St James's Park or whether they are going to look to build a new ground elsewhere. And Sunderland and Middlesbrough, of course, have both been through this. Newcastle haven't, and lots of banter going around on various social media forums and on podcasts about should we stay, should we go, will we stay, will we go, what's the club's decision going to be? They have sent out feasibility studies. They've also sent out questionnaires to supporters via season ticket holder. Via season ticket holders' emails. So there has been a period of consultation, if you like, but this isn't going to happen overnight. I'll give you my stance on it. I personally feel that we should stay or try to stay at St James's Park because of the uniqueness of it. It's right in the city centre. It's the heartbeat of the city, and for those people who are interested in football, it is the cathedral on the hill, and it's got so much romanticism around it. I guess on the flip side of that, we haven't won anything there since 1969. The Fairs Cup, which is defunct in name now, and we haven't won a domestic trophy since 1955. So some may say that the Gypsies curse rumour is alive and well and active at St James's Park. So maybe there is reason to move. The other side of it is financial, of course, and that is that Newcastle are playing catch up with FFP. Some of that down to Mike Ashley, but also some of it down to the fact that they don't have as big a ground maybe as some of their rivals. Still up there in the top 10 for capacities in the UK, and still a game that is favoured by England when they go travelling around the country for internationals. But it's a bit of a lopsided stadium, very similar in a lot of ways, slightly better than Ellen Road and Leeds in the sense that it's not as old, but it's still a bit lopsided. The old East Stand, of course, which back in the 70s was very modern, is now looking increasingly old and ancient and not up to scratch to the other stands. And of course, the fact that it's just the two tiers means that it's also missing out on the chance to have corporate facilities there. So what do Newcastle do? And how many fans could they attract? I've seen lots of people saying we need a 75,000 seater stadium, we need an 80,000 seater stadium. Do a heck. We don't need that at the moment. It's pie in the sky. It's people plucking figures out of the air. I think Newcastle could comfortably fill 65,000. Would it be full every game? Would it be full when Bournemouth come to town? Would it be full when another team with not as excitable away support that sells 3,000 tickets? I don't think it would be. Our attendance, our record attendance was only in the region of 66,000 when Chelsea played Newcastle back in the day. I think that was for Hughie Gallagher's return, if I remember rightly. But I genuinely think that we should extend on the ground as we have it at the moment. It's going to look a bit more lopsided, I would imagine, with the first change that you could make. But it wouldn't mean that anyone would miss out next season or the season after whenever it's done. And that's extend on the Gallagher. Build an extension on the Gallagher, similar to what Liverpool have done at Anfield at the Kop, and build up all that onto there. After that, that would probably take it to 62,500. See where you're at with that, and then if there's a demand for tickets, and if Newcastle do become a team which competes regularly for European trophies and dare I say it, win something at some point, then maybe there will be a demand, maybe things will change, and maybe there will be a reason to extend the East Stand. But at the moment, I don't think there is. Some people are saying that building a new stadium will lead to greater wealth and a more level playing field for Newcastle and those above them. I'm not so sure at the moment. But again, it comes down to cost. Does it cost more to extend St James's Park as it stands, as opposed to building a new stadium. That was the case 20 odd years ago when Sir John Hall tried to push this through. And the other question is, will there be objection? Will the Not In My Backyard Brigade, who, were very much against Sir John Hall's development plans, will they come back out and resurface? Will they oppose the potential growth of St James's Park or a building of a new St James's Park, say on Leazes Park, just a stone's throw from St James's? Lots of questions. I don't have all the answers, sadly. It's such a difficult job for the club. Rye, I'll come to you first. I mean, Middlesbrough did this. They went from Ayresome Park. They went to the Riverside. It seemed to be, there was opposition. I remember there being opposition. Traditionalists don't like change. But, what's your thoughts on Newcastle? Should Newcastle extend for the time being, like I suggest? Or do you think they should go all out and have a new stadium?
Yeah, I think we spoke about this, was it late last year? I think there was a discussion came up and we were sort of talking about crowd figures and stuff like that. I think if it's definitely going to help with the financial fair play for Newcastle, then it's something that they definitely should be doing. If it's something that can increase that FFP and see them become that powerhouse that we all know and think that was going to happen with the Saudi takeover, then I think it's something. It's really like the next lineage, the step in the process. I mean, you see Ratcliffe coming in at Man United, and all he's talking about is the Wembley of the North sort of thing. Like he's a Jon Snow, and I think for the Saudi takeover, the inburst of money that they've come in with, I think it makes sense. I think it's going to be difficult though, because given that Newcastle have such a history there. I mean, we saw under the Mike Ashley era of the renaming of St James Park and how well that went down. I mean, I was a Borough fan, and all I heard about then, even before I was on this show, was how crazy the renaming of St James's Park would have been and how that would have gone down. So it's something that I guess it's one of those ones where you'd have to get fan feedback, because the fans are the ones that attend. If the fans are the fans going to make the move to a new stadium? Of course, if that's where their team are playing. But are they going to be upset? Are you going to cause dishearten against the ranks after years of Mike Ashley? I mean, can you just put that money into something else, into improving St James's Park? It's something that definitely needs to be done and done correctly, because if you jump too quickly on this, it can really, really offset a lot of people, because it could be more money, it could be a new ticket cost, it could be new seats, not sitting with their friends, all that sort of stuff. And we all know how important that needs to be. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, the Riverside has worked out fantastically for Borough. It was something that needed to happen, and we that stadium design has sort of set the precedent as well, because most clubs around the country sort of copied that Riverside Stadium design as well. So yeah, it can work, but I think it needs to be done very, very carefully, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Ted, what's your thoughts on Newcastle's stadium plans? Do you think I'm right? Do you think building on the existing stadium is the way forward, or do you think Newcastle should all out look for a new stadium if they want to progress?
I mean, it's iconic. I mean, I think I used to live in Newcastle for a little while when I was very much younger. I was still at college back then. And that view as you're coming over the bridge, if you're getting the train from Durham into Newcastle, and you see it, and it is impressive to see. There's no two ways around it. Let's not be silly. Even though I'm a Sunderland fan, I can admit that looks quite impressive where you see it. The way I'd be treating this, and obviously we speak about this from time to time, and I listen to what's going on, because obviously I have to take an interest in what's going on at Newcastle now. It's work, isn't it? But I'd be kind of treating this with a little bit of trepidation if I was a Newcastle fan, because the one way they don't have to increase the capacity too much is by increasing prices and changing the clientele. And you picked up on it about the East Stand. Obviously, there's no corporate facilities in there. And no, that's absolutely right. But I'll guarantee you that's what they want to do. And I just have this nagging feeling that there's, reading between the lines of other stories that's come out, dossiers on certain fans and things like that. I just feel like the ownership at Newcastle are now starting to not only get a bit more selective of who they're letting in, but actively going after a different clientele and a clientele with a lot more money that may just push out the regular fan. So if I was a Newcastle fan, I'd be treating this with much trepidation. I think building a new stadium, I don't know whether that'll get the go-ahead, to be honest. I just feel like it's almost too big a change. I think, obviously, a redevelopment of St James is probably a preferable one. How they go about doing that, though, because, I mean, it's not like they can do it in an off-season, is it? It's where do they play in the meantime? There's a lot of questions to be answered with that. But I would just be slightly concerned at the appetite that seems to be there from Newcastle's owners to chase this, with either option, whether it's a new stadium or whether it's redeveloped St James's, because I just feel like it's been done with one thing in mind. And yes, it's great that the club needs to bring more revenue in to combat IFP and all that sort of thing. The FFP. If I was a fan of that club, I would hate to think that's going to be at the expense of me not being able to afford to go there anymore.
Daz, what's your thoughts on the stadium at Newcastle?
I get the whole heritage thing. It being there, it's always been there. It's grown up with the city, which is, it's a really, really special thing. But the other side of it is you look at what Spurs have done and how that's impacted on their money, their revenue that they've got coming in, and you think, would that make a difference? It would make a huge difference, and it's that head over heart thing, isn't it? A little bit, maybe. You want to keep it there in the heart of the city, but a brand new stadium will bring you, riches. Will bring you, a different. It would make the club a different feel. Maybe what the owners are looking for, is to take that club up to the elite level. So I don't know. I like the historical thing. It is a. You drive up to Newcastle, you see it. It sort of appears out of nowhere. It's something. I can imagine it being a real tough one for Geordie fans, and particularly ones of a certain age who've grown up watching the stadium grow with them as well. Come from a nostalgic point of view, can we actually get rid of this when actually with some tweaks it could serve what we need?
Interesting one. Newcastle fans will be watching over the next couple of months, see whether there's any interest. And just a little final point on Newcastle as well before we look ahead to Sunderland Leicester is that Joe Linton looks as if he will sign his new contract, and I'm delighted about that. Dan Ashworth, of course, on his much publicised gardening leave. Amanda Staveley, Mirdad Gadusi and Darren Eales have been in negotiations apparently with Joe Linton and his agent. There was a lot of helicopter activity over Newcastle last week. They stand out like a sore thumb when it's not the police helicopter. To be fair, it's not something that flies over the North East on a regular basis. But yeah, it certainly looked as if there was a lot of action coming backwards and forwards from Newcastle that I saw last week. So one would imagine it's an agent coming in and out, and that's great news. And he's a big player for Newcastle, Joe Linton, and they always say you don't miss what you've lost until it's gone, and that's certainly been the case. And we've got part of it back with Willock, as we saw at the weekend. He adds a different dimension to Newcastle's attacking play and defensive play because of his speed and quickness. But Joe Linton's a big plus for us, Rye, going into next season with him probably secured as a player. Not announced officially yet, but we're led to believe it won't be long before there's an announcement. Probably International Week. It's when Newcastle like to do it.
Yeah, what a big... We were just talking about this the other day, weren't we, about how much Joe Linton is probably, how much he's missing from that Newcastle team. Is it down to him missing? What was the reason for the run of bad form? And we thought Joe Linton might be the answer to that, and to see that he signed on and that he might be comfortable sticking around and buying into that Newcastle's future, then that's a massive plus. That's a big signing, and that's the first big tick moving into a big summer for Newcastle, which we all think will be a massive summer. I think it's going to be a massive turnover of players. We saw the likes of Trippier and everyone getting linked in January I think all that'll come, to a head in the summer. And if Joe Linton's the first move into that sort of into that territory, then I think they're up for a very, very good and big summer, Newcastle fans.
How the turnaround really, when you look at it, Ted, when you think about the situation we found ourselves in, spending £40 million after Steve Nixon had scouted him, then gave him to Steve Bruce to work his magic. And I always remember the infamous Steve Bruce press conference. There's a player in there somewhere, Big Joe, there's a player in there. Yes, just unfortunately Steve couldn't find him. But Eddie Howe comes in, does what he does, and suddenly his value is doubled. He's probably going to be the highest paid player at the club when this contract's announced, and he's committed himself to the club for the future, and he's got into the Brazil squad. Obviously you're a Sunderland fan, mate, but it is good news for us of a black and white persuasion.
It is. I mean, what a turnaround! Because he was getting panned. Obviously, you've met my mate Dr. Mick as well, and I remember when he first signed, and honestly, Joe Wellington, he was calling him, just like it was just like, I've seen his barn door, it was spotless. He just couldn't score, he couldn't do anything, he couldn't run. But the guy stuck in, and you've got to give players credit like that who take that flack on board. And completely turn themselves around and turn into a very, very good midfielder. I just want to pick up what you were saying about the helicopter as well. That must be the first time Geordies have seen a helicopter without a searchlight, is it? Or flying over the MR2. MR2, who am I kidding?
MR2. MR2.
Well, no, it's brilliant for Newcastle. I'm sure the fans will be delighted once that's all confirmed and there's a picture with the new contract being signed. But yeah, he's turned himself into a really, really top quality midfielder, to be honest. Yeah, nobody saw that one coming. Maybe Steve Bruce was right all along and he should be the next director of football.
Oh, shush. I
love it.
Behave yourself, man. Hey, listen, we've had a WhatsApp in.
I did that with a straight face.
I know, yeah, we could see. We literally could see you doing that. We've had a WhatsApp in from our friend Daniil. Good morning, Daniil. Great show, as usual. He's got a couple of points here. Number one, definitely ban phones from football. They may improve atmosphere as the phone generation will join in with the singing and everything. He's also saying, if I was given a team talk, I'd start with, you're better than that. Go out there and show the real you. And for number three, owners and fans. Owners need to understand that fans are the major stakeholders in a club. They are emotionally and financially invested in their clubs. Fans deserve more respect. That's a really good point, Daniil. So much so that they can go on the pitch and have a go at the players. I'm not so sure, but I think we'll all agree with that about us all being major stakeholders in our clubs. But unfortunately,
it's a point I was making before.
Yeah.
It's a point I was making before about being custodians. Where we are the custodians of the club, whereas managers and players, they just come and go. That's part of the history. But the one thing that is ever present, one thing that is ever present in a football club is the supporters. The supporters may change over years, but we are the life and blood of the club, whether clubs like it or not, lads.
And that's, go back to your point about the stadium, Steve. You've been there through the development of that stadium, and you'll also be there through the next part of the development of the stadium. Whereas, how many owners has there been during that time, and how many, who will be the next one? Who will, look at the one in 10 years' time or however long it is? But you were the constant, the fan.
Yeah, Westwood and McKeague started it, then John Hall and his band of merry men, and then Mike Ashley did very little, didn't even get the paintbrush out, and then the next stage is Amanda, Mirdad, PIF and the Reuben. So we look forward to the development. We've only got about 12 minutes left, 30 minutes left in the show. We will have a quick ad break, and then we will look ahead to Sunderland versus Leicester.
We are here every day and every night of every year. From the first breath to the last, we are experts in the human body and human emotion too. We answer 11 million emergency calls a year. But we never panic. We take a pulse, agree a plan, make a cuppa. We don't do it for the thank yous. We do it for all of us. It's not your normal job. We're mending lives, looking for veins, keeping the music playing. We are Michelle, James, Carrie, Yvonne, Adam and Frankie. And at 3:49 this morning, we were Maisie too. £7 2 ounces, all doing well. We are the NHS and we are recruiting now. Search nursing careers.
Hi, this is Jeff. I'm here every weekday morning with the North East Time Tunnel. 60 minutes of hits, all from 1 year. Test your knowledge, see if you can guess the year. If you like your music from the last 40 years, along with some interesting facts about the tracks, then this is just the show for you. We've got some great features, songs that should have been hits but weren't, second-hand songs, and all the national holidays celebrated around the world today. The Time Tunnel, 11 o'clock weekdays.
The North East Time Tunnel. From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink. The North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the northeast, the red, the toon and the cat.
Welcome back to the North East Footy Brekky show. Newcastle United's stadium was what we've been talking about, but we are now going to move on to the big match tonight in the Championship, and it is Sunderland versus top of the table, but wobbling a little bit, Leicester City. And Ted,
they're wobbling.
There. You are a little bit, you're a little bit nervous about this game, Bonnie lad.
I don't know about nervous, mate. It's almost like a sense of impending doom. You know, I know I've got to watch it. You know, it's like sort of, you know when like sort of. I've never been a parent, look, but I imagine it's like this. You know your kid's a crap singer, and you've got to go to the concert and cheer them on anyway, even though you're going to cringe your whole way through it. And that's what I feel about watching this match tonight. I'm just not looking forward to football at the minute. Having said that, like what was said off air, we'll probably go and win tonight, and then, you know, then Speakman comes out and says, the model works, but it doesn't. Listen, we need 6 points from the last few games just to make absolutely sure we don't get dragged into this relegation mess. I don't think we will. I think there's teams down there who are in a lot more trouble than what we are at this moment in time. But yeah, it does concern me. It's Leicester coming this. Yes, they are wobbling a little bit, but I mean, what an opportunity to put that right, to go and play a team at a stadium where the fans are going to be on their backs after about 20 minutes if they haven't scored. You know, they've lost 4 games in a row. Leicester must be looking at this and go, yeah, let's get back to winning ways. But it's in terms of the squad, obviously still no Jack Clark. That's a long way off. If we even see him at all the rest of the season, you don't know these things. Paddy Roberts is still a long way off as well. Alessi is approaching apparently a bit of a comeback now. Sirkin should be back by the end of March. All these are key players though, and these are the players that you want in there. And as much as you know, we've brought players in. The kid from Barnsley on loan, who's just like, he just doesn't look up to it. He looks like a League One player, to be honest. All right, we've only seen him a couple of times, but you just get the feel for a player and kind of looking at it going, nah, he ain't part of this. You look at what's going on up front. You know, you stick Hemir up front against the Norwich City and then don't stick any crosses into the box, or you stick one in the 70 minutes he was on the pitch. Obviously when you swap Hemir and you bring Rusin on, who's about 5'8", all of a sudden you start sticking crosses in the box instead of putting clever through balls through. It's just, you couldn't make it up. It's so disjointed at this moment in time. It's going to be a big challenge tonight. And to be honest, if we come out of this with a draw, it is more than respectable, to be honest with you, given the form that we're currently in. There's all sorts wrong. Like I say, I mean, in terms of Dodds has really got to... I don't know whether to change something is the right idea. He's just got to get the tactics a little bit more right than he has been doing, because the games he's been in charge, it just looks like guesswork. I'm sure it's not, and I'm not trying to do the guy a disservice, but playing the three at the back and all that sort of thing. Then the setup against Norwich was just so pedestrian, not playing players in their right positions. You got Romain Mundle coming back as a left wing back instead of playing up on the wing and trying to go past defenders. There just needs to be some honest conversations had with those players, and it's not all down to them. They are a depleted squad. They are a team of very, very young lads who are lacking leadership on the pitch. I'm sure when we do get Corey Evans back for a couple of games towards the end of the season, it will make a huge difference. It'll show us exactly what we've been missing. But right now, we are where we are, and we've got a team of young lads who honestly need to grow up and step up through no fault of their own. It's not because they're bad players or anything like that they need to be developed. When you've got a squad that's average age 22, 23, you can't expect them to win every single game. But what we do expect from them is an honest performance from them, and I think as long as we see effort tonight, nobody's expecting to win. In the wildest dreams, no honest Sunderland fan is expecting to win tonight. If we see a grafting performance, and even if we were to get edged out 1-0 or 2-1 or anything like that, as long as we see progress and some sort of effort going in, then we'll take that and we'll move on. It's a tough run of fixtures. We've got Leicester obviously tonight. We've got to go away to Southampton, who another one, a very, very tough team to play. QPR are banging form the Saturday after that. God. Sooner or later we need to turn this. I know, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, the run of games we've got.
That's the equivalent of Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal for Newcastle.
It is right now. It's absolutely awful, the run of games we've got. But if we can take any solace from this, when we played Leicester down there, I almost said Filbert Street again, and I've got to stop doing that because it's been years since they played there. Anyway, you know what I mean. King Power Stadium, that's it. When we played them down there, it wasn't a case of Leicester having all of their own way. We need to go on the press. In the first half against Birmingham and against Norwich as well, when we press, we look a completely different team, and when we put players under pressure, we just need to do that now, because nobody expects to win tonight, so you may as well go and press them and push them and attack them as much as you can. And who knows, we might even sneak a goal or two out of this. Just go out there and press them. That's if I was Mike Dodds, that's what I'd be impressing on those lads today. Otherwise, it's going to be what we all fear, an absolute Leicester rout. 53% win probability for Leicester in a home game for us. I mean, it doesn't bear thinking about.
Right, but what's the recipe for success for Sunderland to beat Leicester tonight?
A little bit of cinnamon, maybe a shredding of apple, a little bit of maple syrup. No, I'm just hungry for hot cross buns. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to turn out. This is a really interesting one for me. Sunderland are in a shocking run of form. They've obviously had the debacle off field. They've given it the reins back to Dodsey. The players obviously are now going under another, coaching sort of method again, trying to buy into his ways. It's not really working out. You've got the off-field drama, and then you've got Leicester, who have lost 3 on a bounce ever since we seemingly pantsed them. So it's one of those ones where if you're a Leicester player, Leicester club, Leicester team, you're looking at this one, right, is where we get back on track. We're first in the league. We've lost 3 on the bounce. It's time to right our wrongs. We get back against Sunderland at home, because we look at Sunderland and they've had a bad run of results, and they really are struggling without Jack Clark. It's a massive loss. We cannot underestimate how powerful that kid was. It is a massive, massive loss to take Jack Clark out of that team. And he's, it's one of those, it's irreplaceable. Do you know what I mean? He's just that good. So it's real. I think it's going to be a lot closer than we think, because it's Sunderland needing a win, wanting a win. Dodds trying to prove himself. Leicester also needing a win, wanting a win, trying to keep on hold to that, that top of the table sort of battle, and it makes for a good championship fixture, because on any day anyone can win. So 2 teams that are out of form, 2 teams that need wins. The only thing that scares me is I know where Leicester can get their goals from. I just don't know where Sunderland can get their goals from still. I rate Rusin, but he hasn't banged in 20. You know what I mean? They've got no Jack Clark. And unfortunately, Job's not putting many in it either. So, and then you've got Leicester, who will be ultimately dominating in possession. I mean, even in the losses, we've seen the past 3 games of an average of 78% possession for each 3 games that they've lost. So you're going to say there's a Leicester team sitting there tonight at the Stadium of Light with around 70 to 80% possession, and battering Sunderland. They've got Dan Ballard back, which is a massive plus, but yeah, tantalising fixture, but I'm going to have to say Leicester to get back into winning ways. I just think Sunderland have got a bit more to focus on rather than the league at the moment.
I think this is going to be a tighter game than you guys think. I think I agree with you. I think Jack Clark's a major miss for Sunderland, but Leicester haven't been in the greatest of form either. And, I think this could be a bit of a stalemate tonight. I think it could be a 0-0 or a 1-1. I don't see either team having enough to win it. And that's a good result for Sunderland. If they can get a draw against Leicester at home going into this this period of games, and it's a good result. But I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw in this game. You're saying, are you plotting a defeat there?
I'm going Leicester, but by not by heaps. Like Leicester by 1. I think it's going to be a really tough match, and as I said, I think it's close. Like you agree, you said, Steve. I think it's a lot closer than people think. I don't think Sunderland are going to get pantsed at home with everything going on, but I just don't see them getting the goal or 2 that they need to get past Leicester, and I think Leicester will get at least 1 in during their domination of possession. So I'm going to go Leicester 1-0.
Ted, need a prediction from you?
I'm going to go 1s each. I think we might sneak a draw.
Okay, Daz, as we are handing over to you for your wonderful show that follows ours, we will leave the final word on Sunderland Leicester to you.
Right. I mean, Leicester are having a bit of a slump, aren't they? 3 defeats in the last 5. Just a tad, and
one of them being the Borough.
Yeah. And also Sunderland, 4 defeats in 5. So things are not great for both of these teams at the moment. So I think there'll be a lot of socks rolled up tonight. There'll be a lot of as Daniil says, come on, you're better than this. Go out there and show the real you. To quote Daniil. I was hoping that Sunderland might do something. I was thinking that, I know that it's a poor run. I know confidence is low. Injuries, Jack Clark, everything considered. But I just thought that Sunderland might be able to do something and come away with a point. I think a point would be a brilliant result for them. But I'm going 0-0.
Can't wait to watch this tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm with Steve. I think it'll be really tight. Leicester will make chances. We know that. We know that, and I think it'll be down to your defence and midfield about how you cope with that, Ted. But yeah, I think really, really tight. And I think if you guys come away with a point, that's going to feel like 3 tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was the North East Footy Brekky Show.
Yes, thank you very much,
Tuesday
gents.
morning. Thank you, as always, to our listeners for their company. We hope we gave you a good start to the day, and we're going to hand over to Mid-Morning Matters. Aha!
Do you know, I've never made that link before. Never.
Why haven't we?
I know. Yeah, maybe it's out of kindness. I don't know. Listen, we've got a great show this morning. All the usual stuff, a fabulous category. We've got the quiz that's sweeping the nation, and we've got a new lad who's joining us at the moment across the company, and he's doing like a work placement thing, and he's a lovely lad, and
thanks, man. I think I've settled in well,
and we've not done any taking the mickey out of him just yet, in terms of getting him to go out and buy some tartan paint or anything like that. But one thing we have done is We asked him to make and name that theme for us yesterday, and he did, and it's brilliant. So we're going to do that today as well. And all the usual nonsense. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow morning from 7. Have a lovely, lovely Tuesday, guys, and cheers.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Little lads.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Hear you say life's taking you nowhere. Angel, come up, baby. Look at that sky, life's begun. Nights are warm and the days are young. Come up, baby. There's my baby lost, that's all. Once I'm begging you, save a little soul. Come up, baby. Last night they loved you, opening doors and pulling some strings. Angel, come up, baby. Then walk luck and you looked in time. Never look back, walk tall, act fine. Come up, baby. I'll stick with you, baby, for 1,000 years. I'll please hold and touch you in these golden years.
On DAB radio, online and smart speakers. This is The Tune, The Cat, The Red News.
A watchdog says a girl held in a young offenders institution was pinned down and forcibly stripped by a group of male prison guards. Chief Inspector of Prisons Charlie Taylor says he was deeply shocked at the findings from Wetherby in West Yorkshire. Police are questioning a 33